Punk revolution now. Got the fedora on. I'm naked. Holy crap. There we go, got the psychedelic shirt on with the leopard fedora, which is absolutely the essential King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard outfit, if you do ask myself. I think that sums it up, because we have an epic psychedelic rock band with how many albums now? 20 albums, and they're still making a music from Australia! King Gizzard and the Gizzard. King Wizard and the Gizzard. Listen how epic they're... King Gizzard and... King Wizard and the Gizzard Lizard. King Gizzard and the Gizzard. Basically, if you just listen to how epic their name is, and you realize they released 20 albums, and you realize they're Australian making psychedelic music, you get the entire gist of this band. I know a lot of people love the heck out of this band. They're experimental, they do time signatures and such. Let's just get the review started. Long album, 80-minute long album. I'll keep the review not 80 minutes. You're welcome. So let's start by taking a look at the album cover. I really do like this album cover. It's very psychedelic. Oh, I gotta get my fedora on. My bad. Sorry. How am I supposed to explain this album without a fedora? I really like this album because... not the album cover. I really like the album. Get the fedora on correct. I really like this album fedora. No! I really like this album cover because it's completely symmetrical. You take away the font on the top and you just look at the art, and you just split it in half. You look on the left, you look on the right. It's completely mirrored. It's very cool. What is this? I love these hues of pinkish, orangish, red or something. It looks like I'm about to fight in some big futuristic, cyber dystopian kind of level in Elden Ring or some video game. It looks like a video game. It looks like I'm about to fight some boss in this big, beautiful building, and it's just pretty. Psychedelic. Okay. Now let's just talk about... Let's talk about the 80... Here we go. 80 minute. Let's talk about the 80-minute album. What the heck is an Omnium Gatherum? I don't know. Well, let's take the fedora off because I just realized I don't look very good in it. I look way better in... I think the shirt is the standout. The psychedelic shirt. Even though this is definitely a band that definitely rocks fedoras. King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard, Omnium Gatherum. I think the best way to kind of understand this album is it's an 80-minute long album, but it's really kind of like, first you got the opening track, which is 18 minutes long, the Dripping Tap, which is quite an achievement in itself, and then that's kind of like followed up by an hour-long album. That's frankly how I'm listening to it when I'm reviewing it. I either just want to listen to the Dripping Tap, and I'm going to do that, which I love doing, or I'm gonna start after the Dripping Tap and then just kind of listen through as if it's an own hour-long album. I was gonna say because it's, I don't know, it just doesn't feel super cohesive, just the difference between the first track and the rest, but frankly, this whole album is super varied. You got hip-hop, you got psychedelic soul, you got psychedelic synth-pop, you got thrash metal, stoner metal. It's kind of just all over the place, which is very King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. Like, even though this album is so scattered and all over the place, I feel like it really defines King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard more than anything else. First, I want to talk about the Dripping Tap, which to me feels like King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard took all their strengths, took all the stuff I really like about King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard, and just like focused so hard on just maxing out their strengths and just making their best song ever and stretching it out for 18 minutes and keeping the entire 18 minutes really interesting, because King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard, they are so good at playing their instruments. I mean, this song, the guitar tones are just so epic, because it's not just like they picked one epic guitar tone out. It's like this song has like, you'll hear like 4 or 5 guitars at once. One guitar over here, one guitar over here, one here, maybe one here, and they all got like phenomenal guitar tones, and they're all just shredding, lots of effects and stuff. I feel like this song is just designed for guitar nerds to just coom. This song is just packed with fantastic improvisation. You can just tell every single band member, the chemistry is like really there. They're all focused and playing their ass off. Fantastic guitar tones, lots of crazy effects. Definitely reminds me a good amount of like a psychedelic jam kind of noise rock band, like maybe Acid Mother's Temple or Boredoms. Both are psychedelic Japanese bands that have lots of songs like this. So if you like the Dripping Tap, you should check those bands out. Or if you like those bands, you should check this song out, because it's just shredding, epic, psychedelic trippiness that has some fantastic, really powerful chord changes and some really fantastic melodies too. Like, I've actually critiqued King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard in the past for being mostly a psychedelic pop band with melodies I've always found really lackluster, and then they write this more experimental 18-minute song, and it has like one of their very best melodies ever. I've always really liked King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard, but I've never loved them. I've never been blown away, and the Dripping Tap shows me that they actually are capable of blowing me away, and this is absolutely, without a doubt, one of the best songs of the year, and I doubt that's going to change much because I just love good rock and roll, and this is some freaking epic rock and roll. Once you get past the Dripping Tap, this whole album is very, very different. Like I already said, it's gonna be a big hodgepodge of a lot of fun, interesting stuff, from super chill, psychedelic pop, synth pop kind of music. Like the second track, which follows the Dripping Tap, is Magenta Mountain, which feels a lot more like chill, about kind of creating a vibe with some beautiful textures and melodies, like just kind of go with the flow. It's pretty. I guess it's a nice way to cool off after the song, but it's quite a dramatic shift. I mean, to go from like an epic, fast adrenaline rush of the Dripping Tap to get, kind of shift gears to maybe a more kind of like chill Tame Impala song or chill MGMT song, just, synth poppy, a lot more, feels a little bit more like computer generated, drum machine sort of synthy electronic kind of stuff. Not, it's still gonna have lots of guitars and keyboards kind of, riffing through this whole album, but I would say just, just prepare for a second half that's, it's gonna just focus a lot more on chill psychedelic vibes. I'm just looking through the track list right now, like, it's a long album, 16 songs. I'm not gonna be able to go through every single song and tell you my opinion on them. The Dripping Tap, which is that crazy adrenaline rush rock song. Magenta Mountain, which is like a chill, like a low-key psychedelic pop song. Kepler 22b, which is another psychedelic pop song with like a kind of hip-hop beat. And then you got Gaia, which is, that's a stoner, that's like a stoner rock song, stoner metal song, which definitely reminds us a lot of Infest the Rat's Nest. And then, oh my goodness, you got freaking King Gizzard and the Wizard rapping, which I will actually say they are quite good at rapping. I feel like a lot of people are going to be turned off by any sort of rapping being blended with rock. That is like always a really corny blend, especially King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. You got an Australian man in a psychedelic band rapping, that's going to be cringe. Nope, he's actually pretty good. I will say he's rapping pretty quickly and is good at articulating himself, so I don't know, pretty impressive. We've got Persistence, which is a song that's like always stuck in my head. Blame It on the Weather, another song that gets stuck in my head. The Grim Reaper, more rapping. Like, do you see what I'm saying here? It's just like, it's all over the place, which I don't think is necessarily a flaw, because you can tell King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard really likes everything they're doing. They just sound like a band that just really loves all genres of music and just want to make music in all these genres because they just love it, and that definitely rubs off on you. But, again, I'm feeling that way after the Dripping Tap. It just sounds like we're kind of back to the old King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard, where they're really good at doing a lot of stuff, but I'm never really blown away by it. It's all like, oh, you're doing a lot of different things well. Is this the best psychedelic rap music you've ever heard? Hell no. Is this the best synth pop you've ever heard? Absolutely hell no. Is this the best stoner metal you've ever heard? No way. It's all just pretty good executions at a bunch of different things, and it's really disappointing to have the Dripping Tap where it's like that is like literally King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard's absolute strengths, just so emphasized so hard, and then for that to be followed up by a bunch of tracks of them again just kind of like fooling around in a bunch of genres, and they're doing a good job, but it's pretty entertaining to see them do all this stuff. But why would I ever come back to this album after the first track? It's like really disappointing. This would be like an amazing album if it was like 4 tracks in a row of the Dripping Tap and then like 3 other songs that kind of follow a similar experimental formula, long songs, just really focused on their jamming, making sure every single song has an absolutely phenomenal melody. Of course, they're not going to do that because if you have 18 songs with a lot of, pop songs essentially, just pretty honestly like mediocre synth pop, kind of like Pitchfork core pop songs, that's going to get more streams and they got to feed themselves. I know that sounds really cynical to say they're going to shape their album based off of streams more than, experimentation and art, being an artist. But that's just what the impression I'm getting from this band since day one. I've always complained that they've always been kind of quantity over quality. I mean, they've pumped out 20 albums, and it's I won't lie, it's really impressive that 20 albums later they're able to release an album this good with, I think, their very best song ever, The Dripping Tap. I don't know. It's like how do I put it's like fantastic opening track, lots of meh, lots of good, but lots of meh also afterwards. It's like, I feel like if it wasn't for The Dripping Tap, I would want to give this album maybe like a 6.7, honestly. Like, not really thrilled by it, but The Dripping Tap is so freaking epic that it's like, what do I do? Like, how do you review an album like that? Because The Dripping Tap is like a third of this whole album, basically. Or not a third. Someone do the math for me. It's a long part of the album. So, I don't know. Like, I guess ultimately I'm going to give this like a 7.6 out of 10. I think the Dripping Tap deserves to give it that big boost. I definitely recommend you check out The Dripping Tap. And I think if you're a King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard fan, obviously you're going to love this album. If you're someone who's never listened to the King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard and you just want to get the gist of what this band is about, you should actually probably start with this album because it has my favorite song from them, and it does show, it just flexes their kind of creativity and shows what they're all about more than anything else. Every time I listen to their albums, I'm always like, this is better than a 7 but lower than an 8. Okay, they do have some albums that are under a 7 too. Point is, it's like, I guess frustrating is the right word. Frustrating, because I can just taste and feel them doing a lot of stuff that I just want them to do more of. All right, I'm done rambling, blam, 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 blam. They're a good band. That's all I have to say, folks. Let me know what you think in the commentarios. King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard, The Dripping Tap, pretty epic. Go listen to that song for sure. And like I said, if you like that song, go listen to Acid Mother's Temple and Boredoms, and there's a lot of fantastic bands out there that are doing similar things, especially in Japan. Okay, we're done. Punk Revolution now. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching the video. Punk Revolution now.